Hi Jeff, this is what we've decided for you. This is your dilemma. The Board of Education is mandating a new curriculum for the entire district. Thomas Jefferson has a curriculum in place already that the parents and teachers are happy with and feel that the test scores reflects success. Mr. Thomas, the principal, feels that there is room for improvement, especially with students with special needs, low economic backgrounds, and students with color. The stakeholders, we have the Board of Education, wants to change the curriculum across the entire district. Teachers want curriculum to stay the same. Parents want curriculum to stay the same. Teachers feel students feel extra pressure to be successful. And the principal is torn between the Board of Education and what teacher and parents want.
Some of the current realities you have in your district is that the achievement gaps between white and black students and students with disabilities. There's achievement gaps between economically advantaged and disadvantaged students. At Thomas Jefferson, there's currently, your school is currently performing better than the rest of the district in both ELA and math. Thomas Jefferson also has many students that are under pressure for achieving good grades, and the school is moving towards an us versus them reality.
So some of the obstacles that are facing your school, Jeff, is that getting the parents and staff on board will be tough because there's a lot of resistance right now, there's some pushback. So we talked about the obstacles and we tried to brainstorm some possible solutions within that. So communication was the key for getting that buy-in from parents and staff, and also connecting it to the vision, possibly even evaluating the vision that you have for your school to make sure that it's in line with what you see as important and a priority for your students. Praise is important, we thought, to celebrate the successes that's going on so they know that this is just an enhancement of what they're doing. And letting the staff and parents know that they're doing the right stuff already and we're just going to tweak it and make it better. And some of those parents who are some of your outspoken parents, to try to use them and turn it around, flip it around to use them as a resource. So you'll see in our implementation plan for our solutions that when we have a parent night, we can actually enlist their support to help support parents, to help them support their children. Another obstacle was pushback from the district level, and how are we going to get the district level to buy in to what we're doing and to show them that you are on the right track. So communication with the district is going to be important, and show them that you're making some types of compromises and making sure the mandates are going to be implemented, but also that you want to keep some of the good stuff that you've already done in your school. And again, that you're connecting those changes to the vision. So I need the next slide. Another obstacle is, of course, the students feeling that anxiety and stress. So we talked about some solutions with professional development, maybe some de-stressing activities like yoga or brain gym, and not emphasizing that it's all test practice, but embedding it into what's already happening. That test prep can already be part of the daily goings on within the classroom. Another obstacle that is being a problem for finding solutions was the principal, you, Jeff, needs to implement the provisions in a comfortable way that satisfies both the district and the teachers and parents. There's definitely that conflict there of making the district happy and making your community happy. So making sure again that it's showing that it's an integration of the mandates into what's already being done. It's ongoing and it's always going to be presented in a friendly way. There's a few more obstacles that Antoine will speak to.
All right, Jeff. So what we're thinking is that another obstacle is making the students the top priority. So a very good way to make sure that you can do this and it can work well is you always want to celebrate their successes. So we want to make sure that the students know that they're doing a good job. You want to make sure that you show them they're doing a good job. Not just the big ones, but the small ones too. You know, be very mindful of all the things that your students are doing well. We want to make sure you're building a strong sense of community in the classroom. Everyone, the teachers, cafeterias, the entire staff work well with the students, and they all feel like it's just a great community there. Student mentors we thought would be a great idea. So you have some of your older students or some of your other students helping out with some of the younger students, some other students who may struggle a little bit. We think that would be great for them. We want to make sure both sides are heard through the solution. So not only the district level, but the parents and teachers as well. We talked about making a vision revisit. So looking at the vision all over again, maybe everybody come together to get to one particular vision. A parent night, communication night. Friday, 2 different ones, but definitely a parent night where the district is there and also the parents and the teachers so they can get their questions across. We're talking about allowing the Board of Education to see that we are complying with their you are complying with their mandates, so you're just enhancing the curriculum. You're not necessarily changing what they have here, but you're working with that curriculum and making it fit your school better. And we want to make sure that there's access always provided to the people from the district level so the parents and teachers can see them. We're talking about the public's opinion of the board. We want to make sure that, the board members are visible, that you can actually see them, they're noticeable, throughout the entire community. All 3 of these, the parents are unaware of the importance of cooperative learning, the lack of understanding of Common Core state standards, and the lack of understanding about inclusive model of classrooms. We wanted as much parent communication as possible. So we want to make sure you're sending out newsletters, your social media, websites, forums, meetings, parent nights, everything you could possibly do to communicate with the parents about exactly what's going on. As far as the budgeting and funding for students with disabilities, we saw that, you said it was pretty costly. We wanted to make sure that you knew exactly where the funding was going, possibly or probably need to do an equity audit and to see how exactly the staff is using the money and if there's another way that's a little more cost effective for you to use the money for your school.
Our desired outcomes for your school district and for your school would be to readjust the current curriculum, making sure that you incorporate the district mandates. You want to incorporate sample test questions on a consistent basis instead of just during the test month, the month prior to the testing. You want to make sure that you kind of incorporate it throughout so the kids don't get more stressed out. Another desired outcome would be to make shifts on current curriculum to address the achievement gaps while including the district mandates with input from all the stakeholders. That's a really key part, is with the word all. And you want to enhance the curriculum to make sure that it is aligned with the Common Core state standards and the district mandates. Since you are already doing things very well, just enhance what you have to make it that much better to reach all the students and to close those achievement gaps.
So Jeff, I think we did a very good job of walking you through our thinking, so you didn't just think that we just came up with a bunch of ideas. We kind of looked at our obstacles and our main problems, our obstacles, what are some of our underlying causes for those obstacles, and we kind of addressed and brainstormed some solutions, but to achieve that outcome of providing and enhancing a curriculum that we already currently have that will benefit all students, close the achievement gap, but has buy-in from all stakeholders. And to do that, we've kind of come up with an implementation plan. One of the first things that I really think that you need to do is you need to bring a group of your teacher leaders together, your SLT, your group of teachers who help make decisions in your building, to really take a look at that data. We looked at your data, and there's clearly achievement gaps, and you can't argue with the fact that your white students are doing better than your typical white students are doing better than your African Americans and your students with disabilities. And I think that is your leverage here. I think that's something that you can't argue with, and I think that the teachers will see that there is inequity in your building. And so looking at that as a small group and getting them to buy in and seeing that, I think is your first step. Your second step, I think, would be to have your SLT, not you, your teacher leaders present to the staff the same thing that you presented to them, with some modification and some suggestions of let's take a look at what we are already doing, because we are doing some good things. What we need to do is to take a look at where it is that we are falling down and some of the possibilities or the causes for the falling down. All right, so that's your second step when you present to the you're having your SLT. All right, we want to have staff buy-in, and we want to make sure that your staff sees the importance and the the need to actually take a look at and revise. Then we need to take a look at, and do we need to revise our vision? Does our vision look at and address the needs of all students? Clearly, we need to make sure that that is happening, because right now we are not doing so, and the data proves that. You can take a look and see that your staff is not doing that. So once we get all this together and we get our staff on board and understanding the need to do what we need to do, and to align it with our building vision and get all of our staff on board, then we're gonna start holding learning nights for our parents. We need to get them on board, and we need them to understand. We are not going to, and you should not, and I say we, but you should not be presenting data to your staff, because we don't want to enhance or create the us versus them. So what this night is to say, this is the reason why we need to make these shifts and why we need to move in the direction that we're moving. This is why we have inclusion, and this is what inclusion looks like. It's not only meeting the needs of our lowest learners, it's differentiating instruction and showing our parents how we do that, so that they can see all students are receiving the
Same level of education?
yeah, the same level of education, and that all students we're meeting all the needs of all of our students.
Exactly.
Thank you, Antoine.
No problem.
All right, so that they can see that it is not just, we're not just focusing or targeting our instruction or our implementation plan, focusing on those one groups of students. So holding those learning nights constantly, creating a kickoff night, constantly celebrating, constantly including our parents in on our process and the steps that we are taking. Our next step will be to also have an opportunity to share an open communication with all of our stakeholders, including our Board of Education, to let them know and help them understand that we have made the changes that you have requested, but we also have parents who have questions and concerns, and we just want to give it or provide an opportunity for everybody to be on the same page, but to discuss any concerns or issues that we have about any shifts that we have openly. Making sure, again, that everything that we are doing is in the best interest of our children, right? And then throughout the year, and as well as the parent nights going and happening all throughout the year, this professional development is starting right with day one. We are not gonna have to, I mean, you're gonna need to start doing this, Jeff, before even school starts. You need to go out and you're gonna need to go look and find those teachers. Look at the individual teacher data. Find those teachers who are educating all students well. Finding those special education students who are doing well, and you never know, Jeff, they might all be in one classroom, and you will not need to go looking very far for someone to help you instruct your staff on how to differentiate and provide effective instruction to all students. So if you can't find it in your building, we have plenty of teachers who I'm sure we can offer you to help create professional learning communities, collaborative coaching models, so that you can use people within the district, if not within your own building. So this is an ongoing thing, constantly evaluating where we are, providing professional development on how to analyze data and look at data, not just once, every 4 months, but data that we collect every day, formative, summative assessment data. Looking at it and using data to drive our instruction. And if we're not seeing the gains that we need to, okay, where are we falling down and what can we change? Try something new, look at the data, again, but not constantly shifting, making sure that our data is pointing us in the right direction. And to address the concerns of your financial status and budget constraints, really doing an equity audit. Are you using your financial means to the best of their ability? Are you using your staff effectively? Are there ways in which you can adjust your schedule and or the paraprofessionals and how they're used in their building to make sure that you're meeting all the needs of your students, but also keeping that budget low and using the resources that you have, because that is something you don't have control over. What you do have control over is how you use them. So make sure that you do that. So I think if you implement the steps that we've all come up for you, Jeff, and again, we're more than willing to talk over any concerns that you have, but I think if you start here, getting buy-in, showing that data, and start making those small shifts, that I think that you will not only meet the mandates that are being set before you by the board, but also will meet the desires and the obstacles that your parents were attempting or starting to put up.